So for this exponential equation, the first thing I need to do is move that 22 over by subtracting 22 from both sides. So on the left-hand side, I'm left with 64 raised to the negative 3x minus 3 times 64, and that's equal to 16. So on the left-hand side, I notice that these have the same base. The base is 64, so I can use the multiplication rule that says if they have the same base, which the base is 64, all I have to do is add the exponents. So the exponent on this second term, 64, is just raised to the first power. So really I'm adding negative 3x minus 3 plus 1, which is negative 3x minus 2. And that's equal to 16. Now it looks like a simpler exponential equation. So now we're going to check out the base on each side. The left-hand side has a base of 64 and the right-hand side has a base of 16. We need to make the bases identical. So you always start with the smaller base and try to figure out if you could raise that to some power to get the other base, which is 64. And if you square 16, that's definitely larger than 64. So we have to use a smaller base than 16. So if you try to use base 8, you can't square 8 and get 16. So 8's too big. So let's try base 4. So if I take 4 to the third power, that does give me 64. And 4 to the second power gives me 16. So we're going to be using base 4 on both sides. So on the left-hand side, 4 to the third is 64, and that's still raised to the negative 3x minus 2. And on the right-hand side, 4 to the second power is 16. So we do need to create one single exponent on the left side. So if you have an exponent raised to an exponent, the rule is you multiply. You have to be careful though when you multiply because negative 3x minus 2 has two terms. So you're distributing the negative 3 to both of those terms when you multiply. So on the left-hand side, I have 4 raised to the 3 times negative 3x is negative 9x, and 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, and that's equal to 4 to the second power. Now that the bases match, all I have to do is set the exponents equal to each other. So I am setting negative 9x minus 6 equal to 2. All right, so add 6 to both sides. So I get negative 9x is equal to 8. One last step in order to isolate, divide by negative 9. So I get my solution, which is x is negative 8/9.